Lydia. The pathway is cleared. Now, to find this Paarthunax and see if he can teach us Dragonrend. Still a bit. Dragon! Lydia, look out! Come on, beast!
Drem Yolok, greetings,
What?
Wunderneek. I am Paarthunax. Who are you? What brings you to my
Lydia,
my mountain?
Was not expecting you to be a dragon.
I am as my father Akatosh made me, as are you, Dovahkiin.
Of course.
Tell me, why do you come here, Volan? Why do you intrude on my meditation?
Right, my apologies. I need to learn the Dragonrend shout. Can you teach this to me?
Drem, patience. There are formalities which must be observed at the first meeting of two of the Dove.
But of course.
By long tradition, the Elder speaks first.
Understood.
Hear my Thu'um. Feel it in your bones. Match it if you are Dovahkiin.
Excuse me?
I have spoken.
That is...
The Rotmulag waits.
That is the fire breath shout that I've been using. But
A gift,
second word.
Dovahkiin. You'll understand fire as the Dove do.
indeed. Oh. So many souls just given to me. Not used to such a
Do
thing.
not be afraid. Fasnu, let me feel the power of your Thu'um.
You wish? Alright. How was that?
Ah, yes. Sosedo Vrostmul. The dragon blood runs strong in you.
Indeed.
It is long since I had the pleasure of speech with one of my own kind.
But I'm not a dragon.
Ah, I have expected you, Proda. You would not come all this way for Tinvak with an old Dova.
Tinvak?
No, you seek your weapon against Alduin.
That is true. Greybeards didn't want me to come at all.
Yes, they are very protective of me. Bahlan Fadon.
Strange, wouldn't you think?
But I do not know the Thu'um you seek.
What?
Croesus, it cannot be known to me.
How do you mean?
Your kind, Jor, mortals, created it as a weapon against the Dove, the dragons.
I see.
Our Hadrime, our minds, cannot even comprehend its concepts.
Well, that poses a problem. How can I learn it then if even you, master of the Thu'um, cannot teach it?
Drem, all in good time. First, a question for you. Why do you want to learn this Thu'um?
I rather like this world. I'd rather not end at the moment.
Ruza, as good a reason as any. There are many who feel as you do,
Indeed.
although not all.
I care little for Alduin's opinion.
Some would say that all things must end, so that the next can come to pass.
Sure, but...
Perhaps this world is simply the egg of the next Kalpa? Lin Vokin? Would you stop the next world from being born?
I think that the next world can come when we're ready for it. In other words, it can take care of itself.
Pars, a fair answer. Rofus, maybe you only balance the forces that work to quicken the end of this world.
Excuse me?
Even we who ride the currents of time cannot see past time's end. Wulsetid los trahodis.
Speak in riddles and prophecy.
Those who try to hasten the end may delay it. Those who work to delay the end may bring it closer. But you have indulged my weakness for speech long enough. Croesus, now I will answer your question.
Will you?
Do you know why I live here, at the peak of the Monaven, what you name throat of the world?
I just figured that dragons like mountains, really.
True, but few now remember that this was the very spot where Alduin was defeated by the ancient tongues.
Really?
Vaucht Unslad. Perhaps none but me now remember how he was defeated.
With Dragonrend.
Yes and no.
Oh.
Viknus Nikaron. Alduin was not truly defeated either.
That's true.
If he was, you would not be here today seeking to defeat him.
Perhaps there's no Dragonborn to take his soul.
The Nords of those days used the Dragonrend shout to cripple Alduin.
Yes.
But this was not enough. Ok Mulag Unslad.
Then how did they rid themselves of him?
It was the Kell, the Elder Scroll. They used it to cast him adrift on the currents of time.
Wait, they plunged him forward? Are you saying they just sent him forward and buggered him off to for us to deal with him?
Not intentionally.
I'd hope not.
Some hoped he would be gone forever. Forever lost.
He proved too smart for that.
I knew better. Tidbo Amativ. Time flows ever onward. One day, he would surface.
That's to say the
Which
least.
is why I have lived here. For thousands of mortal years, I have waited. I knew where he would emerge, but not when.
Well, then how does this help me?
Tid Krent. Time was shattered here because of what the ancient Nords did to Alduin.
Explain what you mean by that.
If you brought that Kell, that Elder Scroll back here to the Tid Ahran, the Time Wound,
Yes?
with the Elder Scroll that was used to break time, you may be able to cast yourself back to the other end of the break.
You don't mean...
You could learn Dragonrend from those who created it.
That is fascinating. Yet dangerous. Have you an idea where I can find this Elder Scroll?
Croesus, no. I know little of what has passed below in the long years I have lived here.
'Tis fair.
You are likely better informed than I.
Perhaps Esbern. Or Argonir might have some idea.
Trust your instincts, Dovahkiin. Your blood will show you the way. So, you have made your way here to me. No easy task for a Jor, mortal. Even for one of Dovahsos, dragon blood. What would you ask of me? Sum arc mora. Dremlok. Greetings.
Where did he go? Huh. Would you stay still?
Speak. I will listen.
You're the master of the Greybeards. Do others come here to train?
I have taught the way of the voice for centuries, and the Thu'um since long before that. But no, Dovahkiin. Others do not come here to train anymore. Saran, you are the first in over 100 years. I meditate on the Rotmulag, the words of power. I counsel in their use. It is enough for me.
You meditate on them? How do you mean?
Knowing a word of power is to take its meaning into yourself.
Okay.
Contemplate the meaning of a Rotmulag. You will become closer to that word as it fills your inner self. Will I teach you, Dovahkiin? What word calls you to deeper understanding? There are 3 to master. Fus, Faim, and Yol.
Yol.
In your tongue, the word simply means fire.
Oh, I
It
know.
is change given form, power at its most primal.
Indeed.
That is the true meaning of Yol. Solyek, power. You have it, as do all Dove. But power is inert without action and choice.
I understand.
Think of this as the fire builds in your sum, in your breath. Sum arc mora. What will you burn? What will you spare?
Worry not.
Lok Thu'um.
I thank you, Paarthurnax. I'm going to see the Greybeards now. Perhaps they can help me further. Quite a trek. Agnir! Agnir, I need to speak with you.
So, you spoke to Paarthurnax.
Indeed.
The dragon blood burns bright within you. Did
Thank
he tell
you.
you what you wanted to know? Did he teach you the Dragonrend shout?
No, but he did tell me how to find it.
Well, so be it. If he believes it is necessary for you to learn this, we will bow to his wisdom.
I need the Elder Scroll the Ancients used. Have you any idea where I could find it?
We have never concerned ourselves with the scrolls. The gods themselves would rightly fear to tamper with such things.
It's quite bold.
As for where to find it, such blasphemies have always been the stock and trade of the mages of Winterhold. They may be able to tell you something about the Elder Scroll you seek.
Understood. I know you're not happy about this. Do you know of any other way to defeat Alduin?
Perhaps not. But this shout was used once before, was it not? And here we are again. Have you considered that Alduin was not meant to be defeated? Those who overthrew him in ancient times only postponed the day of reckoning. They did not stop it.
They were not Dragonborn.
The world is meant to end. So be it. Let it end and be reborn.
I believe it is our fate to try to stop it. But you know, I was wondering, what is it you have against the Blades?
The Blades were born of dragon-hating crusaders. They still carry that legacy, although they may not remember from whence it came. They carried out a genocide of dragons when they first came to Tamriel. And now, they will do it again. With your help.
We'll speak again, Agnir.
Sky above, voice within.
Voice within. I'll see you in time, Agnir. Alright, Lydia. Looks like we're getting close to the college. Quite a large structure. Come, it's cold. Let's make haste. Put the horse in a stable. The hell? There's no stable. Let's see. Perhaps this guard will know something.
Heard they're reforming the Dawn Guard. Vampire hunters or something.
Right.
In the old fort near Riften. I'd consider joining up myself.
Of course you did. What about you? Do you know anything?
Dragons breathing fire in the sky. Vampires brazenly attacking people on the street.
Come, Lydia.
It's the end of the world.
Let's just go into the college. Excuse me.
Cross the bridge at your own peril.
Pardon?
The way is dangerous, and the gate will not open. You shall not gain entry.
Why are you out here?
I am here to assist those seeking the wisdom of the college. And if, in the process, my presence helps to deter those who might seek to do harm, so be it. The more important question is, why are you here?
Enter the college, please.
Perhaps. But what is it you expect to find within?
I seek the knowledge of the Elder Scrolls.
Do you? It is true, there are some here who have spent years studying the accumulated knowledge of the scrolls.
Really?
But what you seek does not come easily, and can destroy those without a strong will.
Well, that's my
It would
choice,
seem
isn't
that
it?
the college has what you seek. The question now is, what can you offer the college? Not just anyone is allowed inside. Those wishing to enter must show some degree of skill with magic. A small test, if you will.
Look, I'll succeed, so just let me in.
No, I'm afraid I don't know anything of the sort.
Would you grant entry to the Dragonborn, then?
Dragonborn?
Yes.
It's been so long since we've had any contact with the Greybeards. Do you really have the voice? I would be most impressed to see that.
Step aside.
That gave me the So the
Well?
stories are true. You are Dragonborn.
Indeed.
Normally, you'd need to show some aptitude with one of the schools of magic. But you... I think there is much that we can learn from each other.
Thank you.
I think you'll be a superb addition to the college. Welcome, apprentice. I'll lead you across the
Apprentice,
bridge.
right.
Once you're
Right.
inside, you'll want to speak with Mirabelle Irvine, our master wizard. Please,
Is
follow
she
me.
who I can speak to about the Elder Scroll? What are you doing? Out of the way, you move slowly. I think they should do some repairs here. This is a bit of a dangerous spot. Who are you? Let's see. Excuse me, sir.
I believe I've made myself.
What do you want?
I'm looking for an Elder Scroll. Do you know anything of them?
And what do you plan to do with it? Do you even know what you're asking about? Or are you just someone's errand boy?
Of course I know what I'm doing. Do you have one here?
You think that even if I did have one here, I would let you see it?
Bugger.
It would be kept under the highest security. The greatest thief in the world wouldn't be able to lay a finger on it.
Uh-huh. What about Dragonborn? How about that?
What about? Wait. Were you the one the Greybeards were calling?
Yes.
I'll bring everything we have on them. But it's not much. So don't get your
Thank you.
hopes up. It's mostly lies, leavened with rumor and conjecture.
It's something. Come on, Lydia, let's follow this man. He's willing to help, which is good. I guess we're going to the library. Here. Quite a nice looking place. Stay quiet, Lydia. I believe we're supposed to be silent in libraries.
Here you go. Try not to spill anything on them.
Understood. Ruminations on the Elder Scrolls. By Septimus Cygnus, College of Winterhold. Imagine living beneath the waves with a strong-sided blessing of most excellent fabric, holding the fabric over your gills. Ooh, one of my type. You will begin to breathe, drink its warp and weft. Though the plant matter fibers imbue your soul, the wretched plankton would pollute the cloth until it stank to heavens of prophecy. This is one manner of which the scrolls first come to pass. But are we the sea or the breather or the fabric? Or are we to breathe itself? What? Can you flow through the scrolls as knowledge flows through, being the water, or are we the stuck morass of sea filth that gathers on the edge? Imagine again, this time but different. A bird cresting the wind is lifted by a gust and down by a stone. But the stone could come from above if the bird is upside down. Where then did the gust come from? And which direction? Did the gods send either, or has the bird decreed their presence by her own mind-making? The all-sight of the scrolls makes a turning of the mind such that relative positions are absolute in their primacy. I ask you again to imagine for me. Enough. This time you are beneath the ground. A tiny acorn planted by some well-meaning elf maiden of the woodlands for her pleasure. You wish to grow, but fear what you may become, so you push off the water, the dirt, the sun, to stay in your hole. But it is in the very pushing that you become a tree, in spite of yourself. How did that happen? The acorn is a kind of tree egg, in this instance, and the knowledge is water and sun. We are the chicken inside the egg, but also the dirt. The knowledge from the scrolls is what we push against to become full-sighted ourselves. This makes no sense. One final imagining before your mind closes from the shock of ever knowing. You are now a flame burning bright blue within a vast emptiness. In time you see your brothers and sisters burning of their own in this distance and along your side. A sea of pinpoints, a constellation of memories. Each burns bright, then flickers. Then two more take its place, but not forever, lest the voids fill with rancid light that sucks the thought. Each of our minds is actually the emptiness, and the learning of the scrolls are pinpoints. Without their stabbing light, my consciousness would be as a vast nothingness, unknowing its emptiness, as a void is unknown to itself. But the burning are dangerous and must be carefully tended and minded and brought to themselves and spread to their siblings. What the hell does that mean? Effects of the Elder Scrolls. It is widely known amongst the scholars that the Elder Scrolls entail a certain hazard in their very reading. The mechanism of the effects has, at present, been largely unknown. Theories of hidden knowledge and divine retribution were the subject of idle speculation with little investigation. I, Justinius Paarthunax, have undertaken to thoroughly document the ailments afflicted by the Elder Scrolls and their readers, though a unified theory of how they manifest continues to elude me and remains a subject for further study. I have grouped the effects into four findings. Finding that the avenue of experience depends largely upon the mind of the reader. If this is unclear, I hope that a proper dissectomy will lay in plan. What? Group the first. The naifs. For one who has received no training in the history of nature of the Elder Scroll, the scroll itself is effectively inert. No prophecy can be scryed, nor knowledge obtained. While the scroll will not impart learning to the uninformed, nor will it afflict them with any adverse fashion. Visually, the scroll will appear to be awash in odd letters and symbols. Those who know their astronomy often claim to recognize constellations in the patterns and connections, but such conjecture is impossible to further investigate, since the very nature of this study necessitates unlearned subjects. The second group, the unguarded intellects. It is this second group that realize the greatest danger from attempting to read the scrolls. These are subjects who have an understanding of the nature of the Elder Scrolls and possess sufficient knowledge to actually read what is described there. They have not, however, developed adequate discipline to stave off the mind-shattering effect of having a glimpse of infinity. These unfortunate souls are struck immediately, irrevocably, and completely blind. Oh my. Such is the price for overreaching one's faculties. It bears mentioning, though, that with the blindness also comes a fragment of that hidden knowledge. Whether the future, the past, or the deep natures of being is dependent on the individual and their place in the greater spheres, but the knowledge does come. Third is mediated understanding. Alone in Tamriel, it would appear that only the cult of the ancestor Moth has discovered the discipline to properly guard one's mind when reading the scrolls. Their novitiates must undergo... The novitiates, I don't know that word, must undergo the most rigorous mental cultivation, and they often spend a decade or more at the monastery before being allowed to read their first Elder Scroll. The monks say this is for initiates' own protection, as they must have witnessed many unguarded intellects among their more eager ranks. With appropriate fortitude, these readers also receive blindness, though at a far lesser magnitude than the unguarded. Their vision fogs slightly, but they retain shape, color, and enough acuity to continue to read mundane texts. The knowledge they gain from the scrolls is also tempered somewhat, and requires stages of meditation and reflection to fully appreciate and express what they saw. Group 4, the Illuminated Understanding. Between the previous group and this one exists a continuum that has, at present, only been traversed by the monks of the Ancestor Moth. With continued reading, the monks become gradually more and more blind, but receive greater and more detailed knowledge. As they spend their waking hours pondering the revelations, they also receive a further degree of mental fortitude. There is, for every monk, a day of penultimate reading, when the only knowledge the Elder Scroll imparts is that the monk's next reading shall be his last. For each monk, the penultimate reading comes at a different and unknowable time. Primarily, works have been done to predict the occurrence by charting the severity of an individual. Monk's blindness, but all who reach these later stages report that the increasing blindness seems to taper with increased readings. Some pose the notion that some other unseen sense is in fact continuing to diminish at this upper range, but I shall leave such postulations to philosophers. To prepare for his ultimate reading, a monk typically withdraws to seclusion in order to reflect upon a lifetime of revelation and appoint his mind for reception at his last. Upon this final reading, he is forever blinded, and as sure as those unguarded ones who race to knowledge. The illuminated one, though, has retained his understanding over a lifetime and typically possesses a more integral notion of what has been revealed to him. It is hoped that his catalogue will prove useful to those who wish to further our mortal understandings of the Elder Scrolls. The Moth priests remain aloof about these matters, taking the gradual debilitation that comes with reading as a point of pride. May this serve as a useful starting point for those hoping to take up such study. Dedicated to Anstius Mechtham, fourth of last seed, and I don't care. Well, Lydia, that was quite a bit. Been given a book of bizarre ramblings about the Elder Scrolls written by Septimus Cygnus. He claims to have spent time in Winterhold Arcanium. I wonder if this man can tell us anything else about this.
You are now in the Arcanium.
Yes.
Disrupt my Arcanium.
I will not disrupt.
Now, do you require assistance?
This, Ruminations book is a bit incomprehensible.
Aye, that's the work of Septimus Cygnus.
Okay.
He's the world's master of the nature of Elder Scrolls. But, well, he's been gone for a long while. Too long.
Excuse me? Where did he go?
Somewhere up north, in the ice fields. He said he found some old Dwemer artifact, but well, that was years ago.
Has no one gone and looked for him?
Haven't heard from him since.
I'll go search him out myself. I thank you for giving me the books, at least.